Welcome to the Two Marketing Moms podcast.
Two women with 50 years plus of marketing
Integrity
experience.
and culture are extremely important.
You can still say, I don't know.
Stop multitasking and be present in the
Moms
moment.
have balls, big time.
Welcome to the Two Marketing Moms podcast. We are two women with more than 50 years of marketing and advertising experience between us, and we want to talk about the struggles, the fails, and the wins that we experienced while building our careers, being a boss, juggling work and a home life, and arguably the hardest and yet most fulfilling job, being a mom. This podcast was created for marketing and advertising professionals, especially the up-and-coming marketing stars of the future. We hope these tips, tricks, and advice will help you navigate work and life and get ahead.
Welcome to Two Marketing Moms, episode 18, called The Working Wardrobe That Works for You, with special guest Tara Luizzi. Welcome, Tara.
Hi, good morning. So excited to be on this, you guys.
We're so excited to chat with you today, and this is kind of be one of our more fun episodes because everyone loves to talk about clothes. And especially now, since we've been wearing sweatpants, I'm wearing sweatpants on the bottom of this wonderful outfit right now. So we need to talk about some fun stuff first as we go through today. So I just want to give a quick introduction to you, Tara. Tara is a personal wardrobe consulting and styling service. And she has a service called Tara Styles DC, with more than 20 years of experience in the fashion industry, working for top boutiques in New York, Boston, Washington, DC, as a buyer, merchandiser, manager, and top salesperson. I met Tara about 20 years ago. Was it, Tara?
Probably about that time.
It was pre-kids. I remember that. And I believe it was also pre-marriage. And you helped me through as my wardrobe really changed and evolved, from getting married to being engaged, to getting married, to having children, to going back to work. And you really have assisted me in completing a wardrobe that's assisted me with all new phases of my life. And the other thing that you really helped me with was cementing my personal style. And, we each have our own kind of personal style. And I think I prefer kind of minimal edgy, I guess would be with some classic tones in there. And what I love about working with you is some of the lessons that I recall is you really didn't tell me to spend a whole bunch of money on designer clothes. Your idea was a real recession-friendly philosophy of focusing on accessories to change up a wardrobe. And I now spend less money on shirts and pants and skirts, but more on things like accessories, shoes, bags, jewelry, scarves, and jackets. And so as a result of that, you really gave me a formula that I just love, and that made it really easy for me to make decisions on what I should purchase for my wardrobe. And it helps me feel a lot more confident. So there's my general testimonial about how I have worked with you. So I want to get into it a little bit deeper in terms of how you came to your philosophy. But first, I want to hear your story. Can you tell us a little bit about how and why you started Tara Styles DC?
Yes, sure. And first of all, the way Kelly just described, it kind of breaks down exactly what I try to do for all my clients is really, is to make sure they have a wardrobe that works for them wherever they are in life, and that works for their budget and their body at that time. And we'll get into a little bit of that. But Kelly, that was a great introduction. That's what I try to achieve with all my clients. So I'm glad that worked for you. I started Tara Styles DC at the worst time, which is the 2009 recession, because that's a great time to start a business. But I've been thinking about doing something for a while on my own. I ran a beautiful boutique called Relish, which was based in Georgetown. I was there for about 10 years, and I loved it because we really got to work one-on-one with so many amazing clients here in the DC area, a lot of working professional women, which I really like doing. But I just decided I was tired of the brick and mortar. Also at that time, originally I thought of having my own store, but then the recession hit and retail wasn't doing great, brick and mortar wasn't doing great. So I knew a friend, a stylist, who used to come in and do this with her clients, and thinking, well, I could do this. And I used to go to my clients' homes from Relish because they didn't know how to put all these looks together. Like, great, Tara, right? Like, Tara, I love that what we bought, but what do I do with it? So I started doing that for clients. So I realized, hey, there's something here. So that's kind of how it started. And I'm like not the worst entrepreneur, but literally how I started my company is I left Relish, sent an email to my top clients, to friends, to family, and said, hey, this is what I'm doing. And thank goodness people reached out, like, I'd love to hire you. And Kelly was one of those people. And what I loved about when I started, so many people gave back. So actually that person I talked about who was a stylist, she literally met me for lunch and basically gave me her business plan. Like, no, like, we're both women in the DC area being stylists. She's like, this is how I do it. Kelly, I remember we met for coffee and you said, oh, what are you doing? I'd love to help you. And I told you, and you basically came up with my name, my tagline, my colors. So who would have thought, right? It was just serendipity. So that's just kind of how I got started. And it's just grown from there. It's been about 10, 11 years. And I've just met and worked with the most amazing human beings. And in the end, it's not really about fashion for me. It's about connections with people. And it's my goal is to make my clients just feel confident and great in their everyday lives. So
I think that's a great takeaway, because a lot of people do think of it as, clothing, but really it's about confidence. And I think when I was starting out in my career, it was not positioned to me that way. It was not about what you wear should help you feel confident, should allow you to feel like an individual, expressive. It was much more like, just buy these clothes and wear them so that you fit in.
Right. And I think we're probably all in the same age group, but our generation was definitely like, you go buy the suit, you go for the interview, you dress a certain way. Now, meanwhile, I'm in fashion, so I had a little bit more flexibility than most. But when I moved to DC from New York, I was in shock. How people dress. Everybody looked like mini-me's, exactly the same, right? It was the Ann Taylor days, and everyone was dressed this certain way. And so my goal was like, okay, we got to break the mold here. But I think for the generations behind us, I'm jealous. They just have more flexibility, right? They don't have to wear nylons. They don't have to, it's just different, and you can be more creative. So that's what I try to do with my clients. I basically say to them, I always send a Q&A to new clients, so I get a feel of who and what you are, not just professionally, but in your personal life, because your wardrobe should stretch for both areas. And I'm all about having clothes that work every day, and can work within each other. So it's not just a working closet and a casual closet. It should merge. So,
well, I feel like I eventually found my personal style, and I had the great wardrobe. And then I got pregnant and had 3 kids. And during that time, I dressed like a frump. And then I finally started to come out of that and really find my personal style. And then the pandemic hit. So it's like this. Okay. So my first question, I will tell a story, because this is such a great question. I want you to talk to us about like your core wardrobe and your fundamentals. And I think this was, so I'll tell you a story. When I first graduated college, my first job was in sales. And like you just described with DC and everyone being cookie cutter, they literally took our entire sales team of us who were like 22 years old, to Ann Taylor.
Oh no.
And they had a little fashion show for us. There was like maybe 20 of us girls. And they're like, this is what you need to wear. And they went through the whole thing. And I was like, I don't like any of this clothing. Probably half the pieces I could have made work for me if I had like mix and match with other things I had, but it was so rigid And also, I mean, it was kind of expensive. I was 22. I was making like no money. To spend like $125 on a pair of pants to me was like outrageous. And of course they did the whole, like, you have to wear pantyhose, and they were like, these are the rules. If we come and see you not dressed like this, you're out of there.
Skirts below the knees, right?
Yes,
Yep.
skirts below the knees.
No open toe shoes.
No open-toed shoes. How dare you show a toe?
I mean, can we just talk about that? That people made girl or women wear nylons in the 95 humidity of Washington, D.C. I mean, again, I never had to do it, but I used to watch people on the Hill and think, oh my gosh, like,
And I still wear them.
Do you stop?
I can't
like,
not wear them.
What?
I can't. No, it's
I mean,
like,
winter is fine, but no. Oh no.
if I don't wear a nylon, I feel like I'm living on the edge.
Oh, that's so funny. It's not
Oh,
funny.
Julia, we need to take you to get you some help somewhere.
Yeah, we might. But no, it is. And I think that that was a certain way. I mean, it was, if you were in finance, if you were in sales, if you were a lawyer, yes, there was a certain uniform that you had to go by. And it's just, right. It's amazing in the past, probably 5 to 10 years, it's just that blew up. Even for men. So I deal with men as well. Men's dressing has changed too. Yeah. So they're on a more, but with this, and I'm going to be a little snarky here. It was around when I moved to DC was Casual Friday, just Casual Friday started. And I remember, at the time I was like taking the metro being like, what is happening? Because no one knew how to do casual, right? They only knew suit, and it was just a disaster. And so I think, thank goodness, in the past 10 years, we've all merged into how to dress casually yet professionally. And I think that's very important, to still look professional while being casual. Now, coming out of this pandemic is going to be fascinating. It's already fascinating to watch on the fashion front right now. I think everyone's confused, which they have every right to be, because who knows? But I do think it's gonna swing the other way. I think people are tired, right, of being stuck in your house, wearing sweats, pajamas, whatever it is you're wearing, and start like getting dressed with like zippers and buttons and things like that. So I think fashion's going to go I think it's going to get dressier again. I hope. That's what I like. So just be put together and give a thought is very important.
What is the core wardrobe?
Yeah, what's the core wardrobe?
The core wardrobe, basically, it's almost like, let's say your house or your kitchen, you should have the main ingredients and then you can add to that. So I'm all about, I know a lot of people don't wear suits, but I think you should have at least one good suit in that closet that fits your body, because you never know when you're going to have an interview or an important meeting or something else. Like everyone should have a good suit. I love a dress. I think a dress makes you feel great and confident. So I always say to my clients, obviously the little black dress, but a couple of more, like a color or a pattern in there as well. And especially a dress, you don't have to think about it. You put it on your body and you're done. You don't have to worry about the top, the bottom, the jacket. Also, speaking of jackets, blazers. I love a blazer. I think everyone should have a good black blazer, maybe one like with a pattern or a tweed, even one with, a jean jacket. I love a jean jacket. I love a leather jacket. Those are important things. And when I say leather, there's so many amazing faux leather for like $99. So no one has to know. And some people don't even want real leather. So I love that on top of a dress. Some great fitting t-shirts, white, black. Pants is important. Kelly, I know you just talked earlier, before I was all about like, oh, go cheaper on the pant. Now I'm a little bit more like, maybe spend a little money on the pant. So a good black pant, navy, gray. Also, crisp white blouse. I also love shells or patterned blouses like what I have on right now. Just add a pop of color. I love color in the wardrobe. Jeans I'm all about 3 good jeans. That should be a black jean, a dark denim, and a white or a color, or maybe like a boyfriend jean. And shoes, and shoes are super important. People kind of skimp on that, but it completes the look. So great black heel, a good flat. I love a fun sneaker now. That's a super trend happening. And yeah, so I think those are kind of the cores you should have. And then from there, you can grow it out.
I think that's really helpful. I think one of the things that I would love for you to talk about is, what about those people that are just starting out, like you talked about earlier, who don't have a big budget? How do they start to build a professional wardrobe when they're stressed about not having to wear the same thing twice a week?
All right. Well, first of all, that's where tops are great and come in. And I always say to people don't really remember your bottom, but they remember your top. And I think there's so many great stores now too. You're not just stuck at, again, not fit, and Taylor's fine, but
tell us your favorite shops.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
So, I'm going to start with the department store. So I am a Nordstrom's girl, meaning I have taken clients there forever. And what I love about Nordstrom's is you can go high or you can go low. You can get anything there. There's all different price points. And what I also love is you can set up a styling appointment. So if you can't, afford a stylist, you can call them up and you give them their budget, and you get to meet with a stylist who can help you walk you through. Because I know a department store is intimidating. I love Zara for kind of a fun trend. I mean, they basically watch the runways and make it out a less expensive version. H&M, sometimes I walk through there, I'm like, oh, that's cute. COS is another basic. There's one in Georgetown, and that's a really great store. Club Monaco. Yeah, and Club Monaco's kind of come back, and that's been an interesting for clients. And Banana and J. Crew are still good on the basics. I mean, you can't go wrong. So again, it just depends what I'm walking into, and I can find anything anywhere. But I think you just, try to find some fun pieces, and you don't have to spend a ton. And I always say to clients, the less you spend is probably not going to last you as long. So it's cotton, okay? It's not going to last you 5 years. But just to get your wardrobe going, I think those are all good places to start.
My other favorite is All Saints.
Yes, I do love All Saints, and that if you want what you were talking, Kelly, like a more minimal, edgy look, I love All Saints. Their leathers are great. Their bags are great. If you don't want to spend a ton on a bag but look like you did, All Saints is great.
Great.
I haven't shopped in Georgetown since I was in college.
Oh my gosh.
I went to GW, so I went to Georgetown every day to have brunch on the waterfront and shop like I wasn't in college.
Right. No, I mean, and the beauty of where we live, or anywhere, just even Tyson's, there's so much to choose from, there. And I just try to say to clients, like, it shouldn't be a chore. It should be fun. If you go in miserable, you're going to come out miserable. So just try to give you, especially for moms, I'm going to say this, I feel they just give for everybody else. So, like, I have so many clients who are moms and working moms, and they're like, oh, I shouldn't be doing that. Like, the guilt that they come in with is amazing to me. And I'm just like, no, you deserve to look good. You deserve to have this time to get it together. Like, so give yourself an afternoon, not an hour, not a morning, like a true afternoon. Just schedule it out. And I think that really helps with shopping too. Don't shop for when you need something, because you're never going to find it. So it's better to have a plan when you shop.
So, okay. So we just talked about the basics. So what are things that you might splurge on, or like you consider like investment pieces?
So an investment piece to me is definitely a good blazer. You want something that fits you great, and it can take you miles. It really can. Like, throwing a jacket on anything makes a difference. Again, shoes, maybe because I'm a little older and my feet were ruined from years ago of wearing cheaper shoes. Like, invest in decent shoes, like in a great black heel and a good flat. And it, again, can pull the outfit together. Jewelry, I'm not saying like thousands, but maybe spend a little bit more on you don't need a ton, just some great earrings you love, some necklaces, again, can pull the rest of the outfit together. And actually jeans, I know so many people who spend like $29 on jeans and then they give out and then they hate them. And my clients freak out because I say, we're going to spend maybe 100 or more on a jean, but it looks great on you and it's going to last you. And you wear jeans more than anything. So why not invest in that jean? So those are in a bag. I'm a bag girl. So I do like a fun bag. And now with like the Real and consignment store, you can get great stuff. I mean, the Real is another one. If you know what you're looking for, you can find some really great pieces on that.
That's true.
I mean, I've done bag, borrow, or steal, and I will rent a purse for a month to see if I like it before I go purchase it. Because like I recently just got like a Gucci one because I was like, oh, am I going to really like love this for the long term? And I really enjoyed having it for a month. It was such a cute purse. I don't think I would buy it because I don't think I would rotate it as often. So I do love renting a purse for a month.
And like for also Rent the Runway, in the beginning, right? They were really smart. It was all about the dress. And I've done that for clients. If you don't want to invest, if you have a wedding or a party, I think Rent the Runway is great. And they now have clothing that you can, do Rent the Runway. And it's amazing. I think I have some, clients who are younger and they've said to me like, can you help me pick stuff on Rent the Runway? So I'm like, sure. I mean, it's not the way I would shop. I think you should build a wardrobe. I do. I believe in that. But, if you're just starting out, it's a great way to get there and you're not wearing the same thing every day. You don't have to be stressed about that.
Okay. So yeah, I have another question. So this is unscripted question. So like tons of moms that I know, subscribe to like Stitch Fix.
Yeah.
And I did Stitch Fix for a while and now I do Amazon wardrobe. Because they send me like the most random ideas, like stuff I would never buy. And I love it. Sometimes it's a total miss. Sometimes it's a total win. So how do you feel about those styles? Oh, I'll add that a mom literally just said to me about Stitch Fix. She's like, I feel like I'm getting like the same stuff, just in different colors or just a slightly different fit. So anyways, thoughts.
So love, hate with both those companies you just brought up. I actually have gotten clients because they did Stitch Fix and did not like it. Like, that's how I found out about Stitch Fix. This was years ago. Someone's like, I did Stitch Fix. I'm like, I have no idea what that is. And it was just when it had started out. And it's an algorithm. So in the beginning, they're going to send you that box and you're going to love it. Then you're going to be sucked in and then you're going to do another one. And then by the third box, it's the same stuff. And or like they didn't even listen to what these clients wanted. I think the clothing is cheap. Personally, I would rather have somebody go to a consignment store and buy clothes, which I'm fine with that too. Amazon, again,
it's so random.
I know. And I am like, my friends make fun of me. I am just the old-fashioned girl. I like to go to a store, and I just think Amazon has just taken over the world a little bit. And it's, there's a lot of stores that are losing their businesses because it's just easier, right, to click. And I think a lot of mainstream stores are seeing what Amazon is doing and Stitch Fix. So a Nordstrom's, a Macy's, a Saks, everyone's now doing these little like boxes, and you can, like, they call it the silver box or
like the trunk club, right? With Nordstrom.
So Nordstrom's, but that was a company on its own. I mean, Nordstrom's was super smart. They bought that, and that has been big for them. So I do think that obviously you're going to do what's easier for you. And I'm not saying don't do it, but I have just had so many people so unhappy, more with Stitch Fix. The Amazon one, I don't know as much about, but I did, when that came out, like my heart was like, oh gosh, here we go. And Amazon is brilliant in that it knows exactly what we all want and need. But I do think this is my feeling, especially with online shopping. You're getting that home, you're putting it on, and you're staring at yourself in the closet, in the mirror. And as women, all we do is beat ourselves up. And I know this because I listen to every client I have. I hate this about my body. I hate that. So you're focusing on the negative. So instead of having a salesperson or a stylist who can help you see how that fits and what fits correctly, that's what I think is the big disconnect now. And that's why I think it's 50% of online purchases are returns, probably even more than 50%.
Oh, I'm sure.
So, right. And especially like if you're in a bad mood or the lighting's bad, I don't know. I just think that's why I'm like, take an afternoon and go to a store and don't be intimidated, and find someone who can help you. And that's what they're there for, to help you. It's sales, So anyway, so that's my thing with those. But
a good lead into body types, because you're buying stuff online that may not fit your body type. And that's really hard to tell from a picture of a size 2 model online.
Correct. And I also, just because something looks great, again, we'll get into body types on one body isn't going to look good on another. And people will say to me, like, I've had clients who, and I'll online shop for my clients. Obviously during the pandemic, that was all we could do. But it kind of killed my soul, because I was like, even for me, and I do this for a living, to say, oh, that's going to look great on you. I don't know, and it's, I know my clients, I know what's going to work, but it can look completely different once you get it there. So for the body type, that is my number one thing. And this is something I was trained on years ago, is to be able to look at a client and know basically what size they are and what their body type is. And that makes life so much easier. So the kind of 3 main body types is the banana, the pear, and the hourglass, or basically straight, athletic, curvy. Does that, and I can get into a little bit of what each of that is. But the straight is basically, you're pretty narrow, meaning not a lot of hip, narrow in the shoulder, and it's usually someone who's a little taller. The pear is usually smaller on top, but a little bit more hips, or a little bigger at the bottom. And then curvy is obviously a little more chest and, a little skinnier waist, a little bit more behind. So those are kind of your 3 basics. There's also, I won't get into this as much, but there's high-waisted, there's long-waisted. And that's for pants is huge, because if you're short-waisted, you can't be wearing all these high-waisted pants. It just doesn't look right. And if you're long-waisted, like I'm long-waisted and I can never wear like low-riding pants. It looks weird on me. So these are, again, things that are important. And the other thing I stress with my clients is get away from being obsessed with your size, especially coming out of the pandemic. I have had more clients say to me, I've gained weight. I'm like, if that's the worst thing that happened to you during the pandemic, then God bless you, because we can lose weight. It's fine. And sizing isn't important. It's how the clothing fits on your body type and on your body, than if it's a 2 or an 8, in my personal opinion. And I think as women, we get caught up in size. Ugh, everyone's just obsessed with the size.
Well, yeah. And especially moms who, have kids and, or have had a child and are a different size because of that.
Right.
And they're going to go, like this as they, go through motherhood. What do you do? Like, how do you do? Do you just buy a wardrobe for every size that you are? Like, how do you work with clients through those?
And what's interesting, what Kelly was saying earlier, how I met her and what I'm excited about with my clients is I've worked with them through so many aspects of their life. Like, I've met some of these women when they were single, and I've helped them like get a wedding dress or rehearsal dinner dress. Then like, I'm pregnant, help them get clothes that are professional maternity, and then post baby, right? So they took the time off. So I've helped people transition, and life is a transition and things like that. So with that, I always say just buy a temporary wardrobe. So let's say like when you're kind of at that post baby going back to work. And that's where you go to like Banana, Gap, even Old Navy. I don't care what it is. Like just buy pants that you're comfortable in, but still look good. So maybe you have to go up a size or two. And then blouses, again, things that you can throw in the wash to make your life easier. Button downs are obviously important. And just things, again, that you're comfortable, but still put together. And this is where a blazer is great because you can throw on like whatever, a white blouse and then put a blazer over that. And like, oh, I look together, even though you might not be feeling together because you didn't sleep all night the night before and you have the big meeting. So yeah, I do encourage my clients, and it's okay. Like you can throw that stuff out once you're done. I also have clients who have had 1, 2, 3 children, and they kind of, you know, I'll say to clients, like, you get very personal when you're in someone's closet, very personal. And I'll have that conversation with a client, like, are you thinking of having others? And they're like, yeah, I do. And maybe in 2 years, I'm like, okay, let's keep this aside because, you know, you might just pull it out again for that 8 months that you need it. So I do, and don't wear maternity clothes. Just put those away. Like don't wear maternity clothes to work after you've had the baby. Now go out and buy pants.
So agree with that.
I did that so much.
No, but when after I had each of my kids, for some reason, continuing to wear the maternity clothes really, really bothered me. So I literally, like right after birth, went to Gap, and my size was unexpectedly large, but I'd rather buy the really large Gap than wear maternity. For me, it was psychological. I had to like get out of the maternity mode and into the regular mode. And that's how I dealt with it. And my kids and my husband laugh at me because that's when I just started my all black wardrobe. Because no matter what I would wear, it could be whatever size, and I could hide whatever it is that I need to. And finally, I'm pulling myself out of that and wearing a teeny bit of color, but not much.
I think. Oh, go ahead, Tara.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think the gem that you just said about when you are, you know, fluctuating weight because you're either a mom or maybe you're not a mom, you are fluctuating weight. Like just buy the temporary wardrobe. Don't convince yourself it's the forever wardrobe.
Yeah.
Just buy the temporary wardrobe, maybe go a step lower in cost. But I like that advice. Really good.
Yeah, no, I think it's important. And again, I've been doing this for years and watching I've heard every story under the sun. I've heard every excuse, you know, and it's okay. And I just think, again, it's all about women giving themselves a break. And I think with clothing, there's a pressure. Fashion definitely, I think the fashion world puts a pressure on us. And that's why, like the trends, I'm not all about the trends. I mean, yes, you should add them in, but just because of the trend, I say to my client, just because it's a trend doesn't mean it's going to look good on you. So you got to think about that too. You know, definitely you got to bring things in to update your wardrobe, but you don't have to be on every trend. Just like you said, Julie, like you kind of bought a bag. Gucci is hot right now. Everybody's buying Gucci. As crazy as this is, and post-pandemic,
yeah,
but you're true. Like, I don't know if I need to invest like all of this money into this Gucci, but you had it for a little bit. And it was fun. So yeah, the trend is, you know, it's how they make their money. I mean, been doing it long enough, right? They have to bring in the new and the exciting.
Yeah.
So right now it's 90s. So it's funny for us. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I got to tell you,
wearing the side part or skinny jeans, and I'm sorry, but that's the way it's going to be.
Yeah.
Well, one of my big questions is something that I struggled with for the longest time is just how do you create your own personal style? How do you figure out what's it for you? And so for me, when I find something that I like, I'll buy it in 3 colors, and my color palette is very small. It's white, black, and gray. I do not wear patterns. You would very rarely catch me wearing patterns. I mean, in a scarf maybe and something else, but in most of the things that I wear, I prefer solid. It's just my preference, and that's my minimalist style that I created for myself based on what I'm most comfortable in. I want to look like I just slipped it on. You know, not like sloppily, but you know, like I'm not trying too hard. So how do you advise people to figure out what their personal style is? Or is it just something that evolves over time?
I think it evolves over time. When I do send the Q&A to my client, one of the questions is I ask, who's your style icon? And what I mean by that is like, who do you look to and like, God, I would like to dress like that, or I love the way they put themselves together. So that helps me as a stylist kind of know where we want to go. Are you more classic? Are you more edgy? You know, so it's interesting the answers for that. And, you know, I know I've been doing this for a long time, but I have clients like, I want to look just like you. I love your style. And it's not like I went out and it just kind of evolved over time. I mean, I think as you get older, you, like you said, Kelly, what you're comfortable in and what you feel confident in. So I think, you know, when you're in your 20s, you have time to figure that out, right? Like life, and even into your 30s. But I think as you hit a certain point, like 35 up, you're like, no, I don't want to follow a trend. I want to dress like me and I want to be me. So I think it is over time. I think it's trial and error sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think as you get older, you realize what works for your body, right? So hippy dippy might look amazing on your best friend, but you're more classic. So, and that's the other thing. I think so many people look to their friends, maybe like, oh, I love the way that person dresses. But I think let me step back here. I think your personality should come out in your wardrobe and in your clothing. And that's another thing why I love to meet with clients before I go shopping. I like to meet them in their home because I think it really helps me see who are they and what do they want to achieve and what are they going to be comfortable in. So I do think I think it's your personality should come out, and that's where the creativity comes, right? Like have fun with your wardrobe. I mean, if you're more comfortable in black, white, and gray, great. Like, I mean, I might now send you some links for a little pattern in there, Kelly. Subtle. We'll do subtle patterns for you.
Yeah,
But you know,
I still have things to work on.
yeah. And I never want to put anyone in something that I like to push the boundaries with my clients and say, I know what you're like, Kelly, if you say that to me, I'm like, all right, I'm going to pick 3 things that aren't those colors. And as long as you pick one of them, I'll be so excited. So I think you got to push the boundaries occasionally.
I will work on that. Well, what about we move into the fun do's and don'ts? I mean, you know, what's acceptable, what's not. Julia, you had some questions in that area too.
Well, I mean, there's so many, right? There's the what is appropriate for work, and maybe that's based on your work environment. But like, what's acceptable on a casual Friday or a dress down day, in your opinion?
Okay. First, this is one of those, what is this world going to look like? It's going to be interesting. I think there's going to be a lot more casual dressing than just a casual Friday. I just think that's the way the world is. Pandora's box has been opened. So, but for me, just because it's casual Friday or casual day, it does not mean you get to wear your workout gear to work. Okay. So that's for working out. Putting it together.
So clarify, no yoga pants to work. No Lululemon.
No Lululemon, please.
Okay,
now, yeah, I can't. Hey, and I'm not gonna lie, on my days off, am I running around in Lululemon and maybe didn't quite hit the gym when I was supposed to? Yes, I'm for that. That's running errands. That's not going to work. For me, like I have to dress casually a lot with clients. I'm in closets, I'm running around. So I think like, again, finding that great jean, a white t-shirt, a black blazer, a fun scarf, and a cute shoe, that's great for casual Friday or casual dressing. That's the way I see it. Now, if you don't want to do a blazer, maybe you put on a fun blouse, or that's where you pop the leather jacket on. But it's casual, but pulled together. And I think about it like, what can I wear to maybe meet a friend for lunch? And that to me should be how you dress for like a casual day, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I have some pet peeves and I know you do too, Julia. So let's just throw them out there.
Okay, go ahead.
Ooh, pet peeves.
I know. Well, 2 big ones are, one, I don't think it's really appropriate to wear sandals or flip-flops to work. that's just me. And I know a lot of people do wear the sandals, but I feel that that's too, I don't want to go as far as saying don't show your toes, but to me, I feel like that's too casual, and that's a personal issue. That's my first one. You guys can give feedback. And my second one is the white t-shirt. The white t-shirt is the toughest nut to crack for women. A, to find one that fits, and B, to find one that's transparent, or sorry, opaque, not transparent. It's very difficult to find a shirt that is opaque and you don't see your bra straps and things hanging out. And that's where a lot of women get in trouble, because then it looks like you're not put together, or like you weren't meant to go out in that type of environment. I may have more pet peeves, but those are my top two. What about you, Julia? Yes.
Go, Tara. I don't know what my pet peeves are. I have to think about it.
So just to address what Kelly brought up, and then we can get into yours, Julia, but I'm okay with a sandal. Just get a pedicure. Okay. So if you're going to show your toes, make them look pretty. And I think there's a lot of sandals that are appropriate. There's, like a cute little wedge, something that's not maybe showing off the whole foot, something that's even a peep toe is really cute. But I think in the summer, and if you're doing a casual day, I'm okay with that. Flip-flops, I'm with you. No, flip-flops just are horrible for work. The t-shirt, I agree with you. If I could be the brilliant person who came up with the perfect white t-shirt, I'd be like, the girl who came up with Spanx, right?
It's so hard
would be a millionaire.
to find a great white t-shirt. Why? That's why I won't buy them online, because you get them and you're like, okay, I can see through this.
So some of my secrets, and I was just at a client's closet the other day, and you can spend, again, $200 on a t-shirt or $16 on a t-shirt, but I will tell you 3 that I'm loving this season. One is, you can write these down.
I will.
One is Madewell.
Actually, Madewell.
The past couple of seasons have bought theirs, and they're not too sheer. They're cute, and they're not too tight. They're boxy, but they have like a little something. Another one is a line called ATM, and they're kind of famous just for t-shirts. I love their black t-shirt. They're great. So I actually buy that in 3 colors. And I have a client, and I mean, she's stunning, so everything looks great on her, but she literally buys Hanes medium boy t-shirts, and that's what she wears. And they're fit, so they're fitted enough. And so she just goes to Target and buys them, and buys like 2 packs. And that's that. I will say this, a white t-shirt is only going to last you a season. So you don't have to go spend and then get rid of it after. After 6 months or the summer, because nothing's more disgusting than like what I call pitted out under the arm, or you get a stain. So those to me have been really great go-to white t-shirts. And then on the other thing, and we can talk about, which to me is the most important, is the bra. And a nude bra should be worn under a white t-shirt. So not a white one, but a nude one. And even if it's sheer, it's not as bad. And I'm all about updating your bras. I know we're getting personal here, but it's all about the foundation, and our bodies change as women continually. And every 6 months, and my friends make fun of me, I reinvest in my bras. Now I don't buy a ton, but I think everyone should have like 2 nude, 1 white, and 2 black. And then if you want to go sexy, that's fine. But those are like the basics everyone should have, because the bra's fitting you right, the tops are going to look so much better on you. So that's a thing a lot of people, I have clients who've had the same bra for 15 years.
Yeah, they stretch out. You can't do that.
Exactly.
Same with t-shirts. You really have to regularly go through them and throw them out. Julia, do you have any do's and don'ts from your...
No, I think my only real pet peeve is makeup. And I'm not saying that people should go to work with a full face of makeup. Like, I don't do eyeliner every day, right? But like, I would appreciate a nice fresh face, some lip gloss, maybe a little bit of mascara. I'm not saying that people that don't wear makeup are inappropriate. It's a very hard conversation to have, but I do think that paying attention to your face and giving it a little bit of care in a work environment is probably the way to go versus the I'm not going to worry about my makeup today and look like I just got out of bed.
Yes. And again, it kind of comes back to looking polished. And I think hair and makeup are an additive additive to that. So makeup to me is also very important. And this is where, again, if you go into any department store and go up to one of those counters, that's what they're there for. Now that we're post-pandemic, I keep saying post-pandemic, but we're coming towards the end, and you can now go. I know during the pandemic you couldn't, but now you can go and they will do your makeup and they will tell you like what colors are right. And you can say to them, I don't like a lot. Can you keep it neutral? And they'll teach you, and they'll give you a piece of paper that shows you like the eyes were this, the cheeks were that, the lips are that. And it's important. I also change my lip and eyeshadows every 6 months as well. Again, so you should refresh and not, I'm jealous of women who are like, I don't need to wear foundation. That's never been me. So as long as you invest in like a good lip color, mascara is huge, right? It just, that's all you really need if you don't want to wear foundation. But I think it's important. It just gives you a more polished look. But I think a good lip color and a great mascara can get you far.
Yeah. I mean, I even feel like a little dab of blush or cream blush and like a clear lip would be better than nothing.
Yeah. Yes. And I think,
that's
again,
my pet peeve.
And going back to, we've all been stuck at home and we've all been on Zoom calls and all of that, but I'm just like, I think everybody wants to visit their lipsticks again. I think everybody wants to wear makeup. You know, I personally, just on a side note, I went out to dinner Tuesday night in downtown DC, and it was so nice to see people dressed up and to like, I wore a dress, my friend wore a dress, we had makeup on. You know, it's like, that's what we crave, and that's normal to want to look pretty, right? I mean, so, and I think makeup it does. And I'm not a heavy makeup person. I like to keep it super simple. And this is what I say to the person I've worked with years. I'm like, I'm not going to spend hours on my face. So get me something that within 15 minutes I made up. I'm not that person who, you know, and I think the generation behind us, they're so into the YouTube and the contour. I mean, stuff that I'm like, I can't do that, but, I mean, you can get it done if you go see someone. Even again, you can watch a YouTube video, right? The world is just such a different place. So there's ways to figure it out.
Well, do you have any final points or final thoughts for us to kind of recap in terms of, rebuilding your working wardrobe as we're moving out of the pandemic and really focusing on your personal style and how you can make that unique?
Well, I think in what I do, and I do it with all my clients, I think you need to go into your own closet. So you got to start there. And I think you need to kind of pull out every piece, especially post-pandemic. Okay, so if you're getting back into the working world, go through that wardrobe, be a little honest with yourself, see what fits, see what doesn't, and make a list. And I do it section by section. So I start with pants, skirt, dresses, tops, and see like what you really feel good in and what pieces are missing. It's like going grocery shopping. It's the worst when you're starving, right? You just buy all this stuff. But if you go in shopping with a plan, that really helps. And I guess try to figure out your casual, because I do think it's going to be more casual. So try to find out your casual look. And think about, again, what are you comfortable in? What are you confident in? I think that is just huge. Also, now that we just discussed the bras, maybe go through the bras, see how they're looking, and maybe make an appointment with a specialist there. But I would say that, your wardrobe or clothing could be used as a tool, and that tool is to get you ahead in life, right? So know your day and know who you're going to see. And that's on the working side. If you know you're going to have a big meeting, then dress for the big meeting. If you're going to have a more casual day, that's fine. But know that maybe you might get called into a meeting. So still go to work with that mentality. And I think a lot of people just don't always think about their day. And I think that's very, very important to do. And I think, for those just starting out, don't feel the pressure, but, find things that make you smile too. I really I'll be in the shower and be like, okay, what do I feel like today? Who do I feel like today? So think about that and, kind of I like to just walk out the door and feel good. And I think that's important. And I think a lot of women don't take that moment for themselves to do that. They're like, get the kids and grab a coffee and, we don't have traffic right now, but that's going to happen too. And just take a moment while you're in the shower and just be like, okay, what am I wearing? And if you have the right closet, it's easy. You should be able to walk in that closet and be like, oh, I have the basics. I'm going to add a scarf or a necklace and pull it all together.
Tara, there was this quote that you told me, and I just wanted you to explain it a little bit. You said, fashion is our armor against the world. What do you mean by that?
What do I mean by that? So when I started my business, it really wasn't a personal great time for me. I was going through a divorce. I was scared. I'm starting a company. It's just so much. And here I am meeting strangers daily. I'm starting a business. So there was a lot of pressure. And I remember being like, okay, as long as I look like I have it together, people will think I have it together. And it works, right? People are like, oh, God, you look great. And oh, I want to look like you. And I had to keep it together. And this is what I do. I'm selling a styling business. So I think that you can not feel great, or maybe didn't get sleep the night before, maybe stressed over something. But if you've got it all together on the outside, it's okay. And people, you can fudge it. Let's put it that way. Fake it till you make it. And that's how I feel. I'm not saying hide your feelings, but I think sometimes, especially in the professional world, we just have to get it together, even if our life isn't together. So I think that's what I learned at that time, is that, okay, it's like my shield, again, against the world, and it works. I mean, on a side note, who doesn't love to go get a coffee, and maybe you're sitting in line, someone's like, oh, I love your dress, or I love your it starts your day off great. You're like, oh, thanks. Yeah. And I don't know, it kind of continues. So I always make a point, if I see someone, to say my God, I love your, it's amazing. If you compliment a human being, just this smile on their face, people are like, oh, you noticed me, So, and I think that's important for, as women, to kind of be noticed, so that's my why I got that quote and have that quote. So
I love that. Well, Tara, if people want to find you, work with you, learn from you, how can they find you?
So you could email me at tara@tarastylistdc.com. I am also on Instagram. I have a Facebook page. You can direct message me off of Instagram. So that's really the best.
DC is your Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, correct?
Correct. And thanks to Kelly, that is how I have it. Literally, we sat there just on a.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I just have on a marketing note, because I know you and I sat there that one day, and we listed out all those names, and I forget why that one stuck, but it did. So it's
well, great. I'm glad it's worked for you, and you've obviously helped me, so it was a win-win for both of us.
For sure.
Well, thanks for being on the show, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, you guys. Have a great day. Bye. Bye.
Thanks, Tara. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you liked what you heard, please leave us a podcast review or send us a message at twomarketingmoms.com. And subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time.